symbol called PDF there. There you can download the PDF as well. Please go ahead and download the PDF every single Sunday that we'll be getting as an off. And in case we don't get an off both the times, please go ahead and revise everything that we do. Not available till now. Sir, the recording is available to you. If the recording is available, there you will find a very minute. Okay, I think I'm having my phone right now. I might show you in case I can open it up in my phone. Okay, let me just tell you there. Wherever the recording is available now, just below the recording, there is a small button. I need to find something. In case I can, then I'll show it to you. Uh, it's kind of okay. Wherever the recording is now, if this is the recording, then under the recording, if this is your play button now, here you will find something called practice book, and sometimes it's written as PDF, and then you have the point of download for the video. So there, this is the point. Okay. No, no, sir, it would be visible to you. I think it should be visible to me as well. If I can open up any of the classes, and I'll show it to you. Right. If the download is there, then definitely you will find it. Okay, let me show you any of my classes that I can see right now. Currently, I can see one of the classes of the Power Pack batch, which was there for AFB. I don't know if it's visible or not. I just opened one of the classes of Priyanshu ma'am. There, okay, the screen is very, very bright. Unfortunately, won't be able to show it. There is a little button called PDF in this one. This is just with the download button. For download, there is a button like this. It's like a circle which is on the download point, and here with it you'll find a button called PDF. That would be there for you. I think I look forward to any of my classes as well so that I can show it to you. No, no, she's there. She's in the bilingual batch, sir. Yeah, so the point is the screen is very, very bright now, so it is difficult to hard. It is very difficult to catch it. RBWM, okay. In terms of RBWM, you'll find that now. If my recording is available for you, then with the recording, this would be available to you as well. Okay, let's begin with the class. Today we'll be moving on, though we are done with the good part of the basics in our previous classes, but we are starting formally from today. So this is the English medium class. Okay, so let's begin with the class today. Introduction of accounting. When we talk about accounting, what is exactly accounting? It starts with a particular person called, who's the person who gave the accounting that we study today, who coined it? Prasanti sir, as such, all the classes that are being recorded, all the ebooks plus the MCQs, whatever we are dealing with, it is as per the examination. I would always suggest that go through everything. That means our recorded classes, the live classes that are going on, plus the ebooks, plus the test series, plus we are also covering it up on our YT, on our YouTube as well. That means our YT sessions are also available for you. All these things together make up that entire preparation stronger, considering the fact now you have negative marking as well. So you have to be sorted in what exactly are you attempting in your examination. Okay, so whatever the doubts would be, let's take up the doubts after the class, and let's begin with the area of accounting there. Who gave the accounting that we study today? The name is Luca Bartolomeo Specchioli, also known as Friar Luca. He is an Italian, the reason that we study accounting today. And this all started in 1494 AD. It's said that the accounting started in 1494 AD. So if it's about how many hundreds of years have already passed, so it's more than 600 years now. So accounting was made and was polished later on in England, and then we also studied about America as well. So these were the areas where the entire accounting came from. It started from Italy, then it was refined in England, and then simplified further in America. Okay. Now, when we talk about the accounting that we study today, how do we look forward to it? Okay, just a second. I think there's a glitch. Just a second. I think there is some glitch. I'm just starting. Point is, there are multiple names that are given to him in the world. So, but overall, the theory of accounting clearly states that he was an Italian, and he's the reason that we study accounting today. So, when we talk about him being the father of accounting, what was the particular definition that he has given in our accounting? Okay. Our accounting system was given by him in such a way that he stated that what exactly is accounting. According to one of the definitions of accounting, that says accounting is an art of recording. Why do we need accountancy? Have you ever thought of it? I might be dealing with n number of classes in a day. I have to, by the end of the day, I have to note down now. Why? Because the work is increasing every single day. You all work in a bank, right? Everybody's working there in the bank. Why don't we leave our, if I am someone who's coming to you for bank account opening, I come to you, and then would you just make an oral contract with me, or you would be asking me that have a particular documentation with us? If you're depositing money, then show us our receipt, and then you can deposit your money as well. What happens? Do we have an oral contract, or there's a specific written documentation that is required if I want to open my account? You will not entertain me if I do not provide you the proper information. Why? Because everybody needs to look forward to that. Arvind sir, you have raised your hand. Is there anything that you would like to ask? So, according to the accounting area, we need to record things. We need to note them down, right? That is accounting that we study today. But then, by just recording the transactions, can we work? For example, I have my bank account, right? I have my bank account. It is in the name of Niharika Valia. So what happens is, I come to you and I ask you, can you please give me the details of my account? So what will you do? You'll give me my bank statement, which includes my deposits as well as my withdrawals. But is it linking only to the fact that is related to the accountancy, or monetary terms, or the non-monetary terms are also included? It would include only and only the monetary terms, isn't it? Nothing in the non monetary form would be stated in it. So, number one, you record everything and then you classify every transaction. Okay, in terms of banks, let's come to it. I deposited my money into the bank same day. My father also went to the bank same day. One of my friends went to the bank same day. So many people went to the bank. How do you know who has deposited money? What the bankers do is they note down our names. They note down our names, but are we really known by our names? We are known by our account number. maybe one of my relationship managers will not know me by my name. In the private banks, you'll always find these relationship managers are there now. So there, I have a private bank account. So there, in that particular bank account, I have a relationship manager. She calls me up and then she tells me, "This is your account number. I've been assigned as the relationship manager for you." Then that means they're classifying different kinds of accounts. There would be some current accounts which have there are certain current accounts which are having accounts which are based upon the fact um, that are current accounts. There are certain accounts which are saving accounts. So they classify us differently and then they summarize it. By the end of the day, all the deposits that are made in the bank, all the withdrawals that are made out of the bank are noted down, and on the basis of these things, they summarize the books of accounts. And why do banks record us? Because they know that everything is going in terms of money and everything is counted. So basically, it is defined in terms of money, and then there are transactions and events which are in a part of at least of the financial character and interpreting the results thereof. Basically, if accounting is done in bank, accounting is also done in a school, accounting is also done in a parlor. It is also done in a restaurant. Everywhere you will go, you'll find it. What is accounting there? Accounting is recording the commercial transactions. Why commercial? Because everything that relates to the business has to be recorded in the books of accounts, right? So that's what we look forward to in terms of accounting. So, in terms of accounting, we have two major terms that we need to learn. One is transactions, second is events. As soon as I made a purchase, as soon as made a sale, that is something that we call as transaction. But how did it impact our working? Will I make a profit or will I suffer a loss? That is something that is about event. So first is a transaction, and anything that affects that transaction is called an event. So this is the accounting that we'll be studying from now on. In terms of accounting, it says another definition which is less restrictive interprets accounting as okay. In terms of accounting, first of all, we identify that particular transaction that we are dealing with, and then we measure. If I say that this particular transaction belongs to my business, so that is identifying. Then what do? We measure whether it is in money or not. The moment I come to know it is in money, then by the end of the day, I'll be compiling all the notes and then forming a particular opinion about it. And I'll be telling it to the RBI that, do you know our bank has made money, or do you know our bank has faced a loss? That is something that we define in terms of communicating, right? Okay. On a broader note, when I have to define the accounting as the language of a business, accounting is what? If a business makes money, they tell you through the accounts. If they lose money, they tell you through the accounts. That is what accounting is all about, right? But accounting records everything in it. This is the definition by AICPA. We are done with this. The first definition belongs to this particular organization only. AICPA is the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. In our country, we have ICAI that does this part of defining accounting, and the basics of accounting are defined by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I'm sorry. So ICAI defines the accounting that we study today. But how do they define the accounting that we study today? It is defined as, okay, I think let's talk about it. In terms of accounting, you'll find, first of all, they identify. They identify whether that particular transaction belongs to our business or not. They call it identification of books of accounts. Number two, if you find that this particular transaction belongs to your business, then record it. That is number two. Then, after identifying, then recording, the next point that comes is, oh, there's one point that I missed out. I am writing it over here only. There's a particular acronym through which I have learned this entire thing. I'll tell you that acronym as well. That is IMRCSAIC. This is the way I learned the entire accounting cycle that we study today. Since the sequence cannot be they cannot be having any kind of exchange in any of these steps. So this is a step by step process that we do. First is to identify whether the particular transaction belongs to the business or not, and then we measure. What do we measure? We measure the particular transaction. If it's 100 rupees or 1000 rupees, whatever the case may be, then we move on towards recording that transaction, because we need to record and tell the business that yes, we are making transactions that are required and are relevant for the business. That is what they define as recording. After recording these transactions, what do we do? See, as soon as I recorded a particular transaction, some of them belong to Mr. Sham, some of them belong to Mr. Ram, and some of them belonged to Mr. Malhotra. So any specific person can be there. Random persons can be involved in it, and we need to know what individually we owe or what in individually we do not owe. Sure, sir. So whatever your amount would be, that is something we define as recording and then classifying. Classifying means that if you are recording the transactions in such a way that you are putting it into different groups. If a particular person did any specific transaction, then record that very specific transaction with his name. For example, if I purchase 10 units from you, then record those 10 units. If I purchase 100 units from you later on, then add those 100 units in those 10 units which I bought earlier. So add it up and record those things together. That is how we define the term classify. Okay, then we classify. After classification, we need to stop there. Then what's the issue? We need to stop, and after classification, we need to summarize our books of accounts. We need to find out a way through which we can work, and that is how we define the term summarizing. Summarizing means I asked you by the end of the year, what's the entire total of the transactions with Mr. Ram, or number of units that we have sold to Mr. Sham. So by the end of the year, I'll ask you, what if I have to pay to Mr. Ram, or what if I have to pay to Mr. Sham? So whatever the amount would be in the total, that is how we define the term summarizing. Now, with summarizing, the next level that comes is analyzing. See, only knowing what the books of accounts are doing, we cannot assess the books of accounts. We need to analyze them as well. In terms of analysis we talk about we want to know whether we are making a profit or a loss. Then, has it proved out to be beneficial or not? It is interpretation. And last is, once you personally know what are you dealing with, then you will tell everybody about it. That is what we define as communication. This entire concept is called accounting. One of the easiest way to understand it, for example, there were some exams going on. I'm in a school right now and I am having my exams. So first of all, what happened is my teachers identified that we need to have a test. Then they asked that we need to take the test, and they checked the test and they said I have scored out of 100 I have scored 78 marks, say. That's my score. That is how they will record it. But then they will record it in such a way that in maths I scored 78, in SST I scored maybe 89. So that is what they, according to them, my marks are. And they have classified each and every subject separately. But by the end of the day, whenever my parents would be coming, they will have to add the marks and give a particular total to it, right? So the total would be given, and then they will find out what percentage I am scoring. But knowing only my percentage would suffice them? Obviously not. Then we look forward towards my position. Where do I stand in the school or in that particular section is my position. And after knowing my position, then we communicate it with the people there. That means my parents would be told that this is my marks. This is the process through which every student would have gone through. Why am I relating it with accountancy? It's very easy. Whenever we have a transaction, I made a purchase, identified. Then, if I made a purchase, amount is specified, it's measuring. That means noting down as per the rupees. Then, recording. Recording means to note down whether we are making money or we are losing money. Then classifying. Making money transactions separate way, and the receiving money is separately, and expenses are written separately. Both of these things are written in two different areas. That is how we note down the classifying area. And then we combine everything together, each and every transaction in a list. Then I'll find out whatever that list is telling me, whether I'm making money or not. Then next is, if I'm making money, then let's interpret it, because I have to pay the GST on that, I have to pay on income tax on that. Then I'll interpret it. And lastly, I'll tell income tax department about it, I'll tell SEBI about it, or I'll tell RBI about it. Everybody who's asking my information, I am supposed to submit it. That is IMRCS AIC. That is, this particular cycle is what we define as accounting cycle. So, sir, is it okay now? Okay. Then this is what we define as accounting cycle. And is it clear now, everyone? Is the accounting cycle sorted? Thank you so much, ma'am. Is there any doubt in this area? Because this is the trail that we'll be looking forward to. Ravi sir, sorted now? Or is there any doubt? Thank you. Okay, now let's move on towards the next point. When we define accounting, thank you. Accounting is an art. Why? Because you might be writing it in a different way. I might be writing my books of accounts in a different way. Though we know the same thing. It's just like we both know dancing. But what will happen? Everybody would do a separate kind of dance form. Even though we are flexible enough, we might be of the same height, but nobody will do the same steps. Why? Because everybody has their personal application. Same thing goes with accounting as an art. There's a personalized application that we always believe in. Next is accounting is recording. Recording means we note down each and every transaction that is happening in the business, and that too in a sequential, or what we call a chronological order. Kindly note down, chronological means date wise or sequence wise. Chronological is a term which we use for noting down each and every transaction separately. We call it journal. Then we classify. That means we note down in terms of ledger. We make tables of each and every person with whom we are having a transaction. Then we create a summary which we call a list. This list is what we call a trial balance. So the first thing that we'll be learning in terms of the accounting cycle would be recording the transactions individually, then fitting them into separate tables of each and every transaction, then compiling all the tables together, which we form as list. Once we form a specific list, the next point that would come up is forming that entire list. We'll be moving forward towards understanding whether we are making money or not. So if we are making money, then we are having a profit and loss account. If we are making profits, note it down. If we are facing losses, note it down. So there are two aspects of accounting. Trial balance, sir, it's a, Mohana ma'am, it's basically um, it's a statement. It's a statement. It's a kind of list where you will record everything that is happening in the business. If we make money, note it down. If you're losing money, note it down. Everything that has happened in the business would be noted together in the trial balance. It's a list or a statement where we compile everything, every transaction which has happened with a specific person or different persons altogether. So everything would be compiled in one particular statement. Then we prepare our profit and loss account. We try to find whether we are making money or not. Once we know whether we are making money or not, by the end of the year on 31st of March, people will ask, you have money in your pocket? I'll say that yes, on 31st of March, I am having money. Even it's year end, even if it's the month end, I still have money. Then they'll ask me, do you have any building? I'll say I have a building. Do you have any capital? I'll say yes, I have invested in this particular organization. So when these questions would be answered, I'll not only prepare the profit and loss account, which is basically stating whether I'm making money or not, but I'll also make a statement called the balance sheet. The balance sheet, which talks about whatever I possess through which I make money, which we call as asset. For example, that furniture, that table that helps us to earn more money because people sit on it and the client will tell us what exactly they want and we provide them that particular service. That's how we define as asset. Okay, balance sheet shows the net worth. This is something which shows the net worth of the organization. Whether the organization is having assets, whether the organization is having capital and liabilities. This is balance sheet. But what are exactly these three terms, everyone? Let's talk about this in detail. In terms of accounting, we are done with this area. First was identification of transaction, then we measured and then recorded. Recorded means we formed a journal. Then we classified, we formed it into a ledger. Then we summarized, which was called the trial balance. And then it was time to find out profit and loss account or the balance sheet. Under balance sheet, what happens? I said three terms. One is assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. This is the formula. But what is this formula exactly about? If I purchase this pen, this was a digital pen which costed me maybe, let's take it up, it costed me rupees 1 lakh. Now, this is the reason through which I decided I can work upon my business by using this equipment. So I bought the entire equipment for 1 lakh rupees. That is my asset because this equipment is not sold, but I am using this equipment to earn money. That is something which we define as asset. Anything that helps you to earn money. If you're noting it down, kindly note down asset is something which helps. Asset is something which helps in earning money through it. Asset is something which helps in earning money through it. That is how we define as asset. But if I define asset, where do I get that money from? I said I got my own money, but my money was hardly 80,000. Remaining 20,000 I didn't have. So what I did was I borrowed it from someone else. So in order to spend this 1 lakh, I got 80,000 of my own and then I borrowed 20,000 from bank. When I have a burden on my head that I have to pay to someone else, that is called liabilities. When it's about my personal amount that I invested in the business, that's how I define term capital. And whatever amount I'm putting in the business to earn more money is defined as assets. These three elements, oh, I think L is not visible now. What do you mean by L there? Would have been hidden now. So it is liabilities, everyone. L for liabilities. Is it visible now? Liabilities means whatever money we take from someone else, sir. If I need money and if I invest mine, it's capital. If I ask you to help me out, to give me money, that is how we define the term liabilities. It's an outsider's fund. This is how we define the accounting cycle, and balance sheet notes down these errors. Assets, how do we make assets? By using our own money and using other people's money. We'll be discussing these equations in detail in the upcoming classes. But is this portion sorted, everyone? Till now, whatever we have done? The new terminologies that we learned journal, the accounting cycle on a general note in terms of accounting terminologies. It starts from journal, then it goes towards ledger, then it goes towards trial balance, then it goes towards profit and loss account, and the last thing is the balance sheet. Yes, sir, you will get the PDF there. That would be available in your app only. It's downloadable within the app. Once you get the recording of this class now, there they have a little button called PDF, or you will find a particular thing called a practice book. There you will find the PDFs. Okay. Now, if I have to ask you what are the features of accounting, how would you define that? You'll say that it maintains the records of a business transaction. Every transaction that is happening in the business would be recorded, right? Second thing it talks about is to ascertain the net profit or loss. That is what I told you. Whether the organization is making profit or loss, we need to note it down. And then we talk about to ascertain the financial position. Financial position is basically your balance sheet. It talks about, this is also called snapshot on a specific day. Snapshot means on 31st of March, I'll ask you that what's the balance on 31st March 2022. You'll tell me the bank balance is rupees 1 lakh on that day. You'll tell me that it is a balance of 10 lakh on that day. That is how we define to ascertain the financial position of a business. And then they'll ask to provide accounting information to the interested parties. Every party who's interested, we'll have to tell them. SEBI is always there in terms of listed companies. Every bank is answerable to RBI, whether they are making money or not. They are constantly under the radar. What is their SLR? What is their CRR? Whether they are making money or not. If the banks is having NPAs, what are the total cash reserves that they are having? Everything is being told to RBI. Every bank is answerable, right? That is how the accounting information is sent to the related parties or interested parties. Okay. Now, based upon this, can you tell me among the following which shows the current process of accounting cycle? Is it communicating, recording, identifying, recording, identifying, communicating, recording, totaling, identifying, then recording, and then communicating? Yes, the correct answer is D. First of all, we identify, then we record it, and after completion of the entire things, we tell it to the people. That is communicating. Thank you, sir. The same concepts, in case you are new to this now, there are first 5 classes. Those first, I think, there are certain classes which would be visible to everybody who has just joined today. they can review those recorded classes where I've talked about what accounting is. All these basics are detailed, discussed in detail. What accounting terminologies are, what exactly accounting is, everything. So, in case you have just joined, kindly go through that as well. That will help you to understand accounting in detail. Then, in terms of accounting, we have specific branches. Okay. Uh, Accounting has its roots in the area of Italy now. But let's talk about one thing. In Europe, this used to happen. In the European era, now, what used to happen? There were landlords, the landlords who had massive, big lands. So they used to give those lands on rent to people, but they couldn't really maintain their properties in a good way. They couldn't really note down everything on their own. They were never interested. So they hired a particular person called steward. Then this person used to maintain the books of accounts, which they call it stewardship accounting. This was a kind of faith between the steward and the particular owner of those properties. They call it stewardship accounting, who noted down whether they are receiving money or losing money. That is something they define as the stewardship accounting. Then they had financial accounting. Financial accounting is what? That is something which every bank is doing right now. Whether we are finding profits or losses in the business, we note it down. Do you know the banks have to submit, every bank which is listed on SEBI. That means, for example, SBI is listed now. So their shares are tradable on the stock exchanges. So what happens is, whatever financial accounting is for them, the profit and loss account, they have to submit it every quarter. It is submitted quarterly. So that means whatever profit or losses, the entire books of accounts are prepared and then sent to the RBI as well as SEBI, right? That is something which is done in terms of financial accounting. Then what is cost accounting, everyone? If the purpose of financial accounting is to note down the P&L, profit or loss, then what is cost accounting? How do we define the cost accounting? How do we define cost accounting, everyone? If I'm selling good to you, I decided to sell this pen to you. I don't know its cost. Then it will create a trouble for me. Correct, sir. That is to examine the expenditure. Let's find out what exactly the cost of production for that particular thing is. Pavan, sir, this is the bilingual one. Sorry, this is the English one. I think it starts at 8 p.m. only. Cost accounting is if I note down the cost of this particular pen and then I sell it to you. I sell it to you by knowing what exact amount it costed me. If it costed me 8 rupees, then I'll definitely sell it to you for maybe 20 rupees, right? Because I need little buffer. I need to pay for the electricity. I need to pay for the advertisement there, right? That is how we define cost accounting. Find the cost of production and then sell things as per the cost. Then management accounting it's about the managers of the organization, what amount they are getting because their performance is based upon the management accounting, the decision making process that they look forward to, whether to make things, whether to expand, whether to stop, everything in terms of management accounting. Then taxation accounting. This kind of taxation is done in terms of noting down the GST, noting down the income tax they are supposed to pay, noting down every kind of taxation that they are required to pay. That is called taxation accounting. Next is social responsibility accounting. Social responsibility accounting refers to that kind of accounting which is dealing with the corporate social responsibility of the organization. Correct, sir? CSR. In terms of CSR, see, every bank or every organization which is making huge amount of money, they're answerable to the government. You are making good money from the account, from the society. What are you giving them back? If you aren't giving them anything, then why is there a need for your existence? So it is social responsibility, whatever they are doing for the world. That means if they have opened a school, if they have opened, they have gone forward towards the area of developing infrastructure, everything. If they are working towards employment generation, then they have to note it down and show it off. That is social responsibility accounting. Then national resource accounting. There they record the forest area. There they record the area of accounting. They record the area of mm, the minerals that we possess, the forest area, and everything that we look forward to. That is defined under national resource accounting. Then forest minerals, then we have queries, then we have to look forward to the number of reserves that we have, in terms of the parks that we have, the national parks. That is everything a part of national resource account. Whatever resources the our country possesses, it's called national resource accounting. Then we are hard hit by inflation. Inflation is also there. Inflation is basically an accounting which talks about the rising prices. How do we cope up with it? What is the impact of that particular inflation in our country? Increasing in prices, decreasing our purchasing power for the product. That is how we record the inflation accounting. And over the period of time, this particular portion has also gained an importance, which they call it human resource accounting. Human resource accounting is like, if I work for the organization, then what is the worth that I have given to them? The organization would have spent at least maybe say 2 lakh rupees on my training. After 2 lakh rupees was spent on my training, then I started working for the organization, and I am generating 20 lakh worth profit. So it's good for the organization. Na? They'll see that whatever amount they are spending on me every year or every month, they are getting it or not. Prasanthi sir, there are specific classes. I believe you can look forward towards the batch on our the English medium batch area only. You go to that particular area of www.adda247 or in our app. There you will find the planners there. In terms of planners, everyone you can review what is the timing of each and every class, right? So you can review the timings of all the classes as per your batch that you have taken up. Okay, now these were the various branches of accounting. After branches of accounting, the next point that comes here is one of the basic differences in accounting is, what's the difference between transaction and event? Transactions are those business undertaking that have direct or indirect impact on the finances. It impacts our business, right? We are purchasing, we are selling. That's something that affects our business. But an event alludes to occurrence of the consequence to a business organization due to transaction that can be expressed in terms of money. So if the transaction happened, it would lead to a profit or a loss ultimately. When such a thing is defined, we define it as transaction affecting an event. It's the cause because of which we make a profit or a loss. That's the effect. The transactions are recorded as they rise. Accounting are, in terms of accounting, when the transaction is done, I purchased something, I recorded. I sold something, I recorded. But in terms of event, only those events are recorded which are financial in nature. Whatever is financial. Then changes in financial state. When we look forward to this, then see, in terms of transaction, I'm noting a purchase or a sale or an expense or an income. So its financial position is getting affected. But in terms of an event, profit or loss, once it has been added to something area in a particular profit or a loss, then you'll have to look forward to may or may not result in a change. Then the scope is narrow in terms of transaction and wide in terms of the event. So transaction is the first level which affects and gives rise to the event. Sir, our YT sessions are also going on. The YT sessions are there in the morning. Snehal ma'am, I think I need to review that if whether the remaining two subjects have started or they are about to start. You can check it out in the planner as well. Otherwise, by the next class, I'll download their planners and will specify how to look forward to those classes. So just give me a day. By tomorrow, I'll specify. No problem. YT sessions are in the morning. It's at 7. Uh, no, at 7 we have the CAIB. At 7:30, my classes are going on for this particular session. These are MCQ based classes. Anybody who has joined today, what you can do is you can look forward to the first. I think taken four or five classes are there for beginners. So anybody who has no clue what exactly accounting is, accounting terminologies are discussed in the previous 4 or 5 classes. Everything that we are dealing with today, it's kind of elaboration of whatever I did in those first 4 or 5 classes. But don't worry, if you were not able to to see those classes, or you are actually dealing it for the first time, I am explaining everything as if you have no idea about it. Because they're not exactly the same. The the classes that we are just starting now, the paid one, that the today's the first class now, this is way too elaborated from whatever you'll get on YouTube or whatever I have explained in terms of the beginner classes. The topics will remain the same, but this is elaborated one. There I have discussed the terminologies that are recorded in terms of accounting, what exactly accounting is, from where the entire accounting came from. The basics are there. Okay. Transaction and event. Is it clear, everyone? Thank you, ma'am. Now, with this, let's talk about event. Snehal, ma'am, I'll just answer about this question in a moment there. But before that, let's talk about the events first. Acha, we talked about the events earlier as well, na? Transaction and event. Identification of a transaction in terms of money. If I've seen money and the transaction is there, that is something we define as event. But how is transaction made? There's an action with money. An event means happening or occurrence. But that happens because there's an action plus money is transaction, and that transaction leads to an event, right? So this was the entire topic that we did. After an event is done, we record, we classify, we summarize, we analyze, we interpret, and by the end of that particular transaction, we communicate, right? But what is the qualitative characteristics of accounting information? As such, as soon as I started with accountancy, I was always told that Niharika, it's all about money. Whenever you see there's money, then especially that relates to your business, only record that. But later on, we were told that no, it's not only about money. It's about the fact if you said that you deposited 10,000 rupees in your bank account, what's the proof, everyone? If anybody says that they have deposited 10,000 in their bank account, what's the proof? How can I prove that yes, I deposited this 10,000 rupees in my bank account? Correct. If I am depositing money, then there's a deposit receipt now, the slip that I get. The There's a deposit slip kind of thing which has two parts. One part is given back to me, and this is the part which the bank keeps. Correct. That's the counter slip or paying slip. And at the same time, if I go into my app, for example, I have HDFC bank account, so I'll just go into my app, then there I'll find my bank statement which proves that yes, I deposited money. Plus, not only this, I'll also receive an SMS that yes, I have deposited money. So if I say that I have deposited 10,000 rupees, I can prove it. This is accountancy in terms of qualitative characteristics. Number one, whenever I am recording it, it should be relevant. It relates to my account, only then I'll look forward to it. And timeliness. Do you know? As such, everybody knows that everybody is a banker here. Okay, in how much time, if I deposit cash into my bank account, in how much time I get the update about it? If I come to the bank and I deposit 10,000 rupees, in how much time will I get the SMS for the same? How much time will it take, everyone? Yes, it would be received as early as possible. I have seen that. Correct. This is what I have seen even. As soon as I go to the counter, normally, yes. Normally what happens is, as soon as I go to the bank counter, then as soon as that thing is done, I receive that particular SMS right away while I'm standing in the bank only, that they have received my money. And then I, by the time I'll be going out, at least I can take a sigh of relief that yes, that amount is being reflected in my bank account. If an NFT is being sold, or RTGS is being sent, when we are receiving these things, we know that these things are happening, and these are also shown in our bank accounts even, right? So whenever we have any kind of transactions, we have timeliness as well. If something happens today and I'll show it after 5 days, what will happen? Where is the security for that? That is timeliness. Then the next point is dedicated value. That value relates to the area of, we can say, it relates to that bank account or not. That is something which we can define in terms of dedicated value, right? Next point is feedback value. See, if I say that I paid 10,000 and you agreed that yes, I paid it back, that's a feedback value. We can find out whether the transaction is being done in a proper way or not. That is feedback. Then, if I said that yes, I've deposited, I have proofs, that is reliable. Then we can verify it. Yes, we can. Faithfulness, that trust builds in, right? It gets into that particular activity that yes, if I said this thing happening, then it is actually happening as well. And neutrality, it's about being unbiased in recording those transactions. That is how we define the term neutrality. These are the qualitative characteristics of accounting information because it has two areas. First is everything is about money. But then, is it everything about money only? Don't we record the transactions on the basis of the fact whether those transactions are reliable or not? If they aren't reliable, why are we even recording it in the books of accounts? That is something which we define in terms of qualitative characteristics of accounting information. With these qualitative characteristics, we start with the area of bookkeeping. Have you heard about the term bookkeeping, everyone? What would it mean? An English word, bookkeeping. What exactly is bookkeeping? I maintain books. Correct, ma'am. Do you know the clerical staff is responsible for recording each and every transaction? All they are asked to do is just to record everything that is happening, every single transaction which is happening. Even if you're paying 30 rupees to the laborer that just came here, if you're paying 300 rupees, note it down. If you bought stationery for the organization, note it down. If anybody took money out of the organization, and that too, it was a basic small theft, then even note it down. The burglary, everything. Everything good, everything bad. Just close your eyes and note it down. You don't have to think what's the repercussion. You are supposed to only note it down. It would be checked, assessed, and application of that particular thing would be seen by the top level or the middle level. Their work is bookkeeping. Maintaining of the records is basically bookkeeping. Correct. It is basically related to the area of recording the transactions. It is basically both science and as well as art. It's called a science. Why? There are so many theories related to bookkeeping. In accountancy, even at times I'll say that, see, the point is, if I say this thing is going to be recorded like this, we'll have to record it like this. Even if there's any other way. No, we will not define it. We'll say there's a predefined format, kindly do not change it. So, in terms of science, gravity is what? The concept of gravity is same for everyone. You and I, we are sitting. If I'm using this pen and I drop it, it's going down. It's not going up. Why? Because it's universal. For everybody, it's there. In terms of accounting, even, it would be the same. I'm sorry. But along with this, there's hardcore reality. The reality is everybody's different. Humans are different. So we'll record accounting with our own ways. That's why it's an art. Next, it records all the business transactions. That's the work of a bookkeeping, right? It makes everything systematic. See, the work of the clerical staff is one of the most tedious jobs because they are dealing with bulk transactions. They have to note down everything that is happening. If any specific important transaction is missed out, then it can lead to major frauds. So they have a system that nothing is lost. The transactions which are recorded relate to the transactions of money or money's worth. One of the basic things, everything relates to money. It's all about money. The monetary effect of the transaction is shown in the record of bookkeeping. So everything goes as per the bookkeeping. What does bookkeeping does exactly then? Then number one, it says to record the transactions to a certain financial effect. We need to find out whether we made a profit, whether we made a loss, what's its impact. That is something to ascertain the financial effect. Then to show the correct position. See, if any of the transactions is not recorded, then it will impact the authority as well as the reliability of those transactions. So we need to know what exactly is happening. Good, bad, worst, everything has to be defined there.